Getting you ready for a busy Tuesday show this morning. We're going to take you to inside state capitol for a number of different topics. We are going to visit with Senator Bill Cassidy. We are going to visit with Baton Rouge Police Chief TJ Morse, who's actually in Washington, D.C. right now for National Police Week. We got a lot of ground to cover, so let's get after it. Top stories and trending gets us underway. Just a heads up, this afternoon at 2, the Louisiana Secretary of State's office will test its electronic election results system in preparation for the upcoming May 16th party primary and municipal primary election. During the test period, the Secretary of State's website will display mock results. These are mock results. Once again, mock results. They are not real. The election results are only for testing purposes. They don't reflect any actual results. It is going to be a busy back half of the year for infrastructure out in Livingston Parish. Officials plan to release 12 road projects for bid this year, with the first 3 projects expected to begin within the next month. The East Baton Rouge Parish Library is looking for feedback from the public on possible renovations to the Baker Library. Design teams hosted an open house on Monday evening to show 2 versions of the proposed plan. The expansions include more handicap parking spots, a roof replacement, and dedicated spaces for teens and children. This at well, you know what? I'll save my editorial commentary for another time. The Downtown Development District is holding a special meeting today to review the recommendations from Plan Baton Rouge Phase 3. Suggestions include, among other things, an enhanced promenade, a large park with a playground, a pedestrian bridge from the Capitol, a lot of mixed-use developments, a sports hub, and a whole lot more. We're going to talk about this at greater length towards the end of the show, as we'll break down all the different possibilities, and we'll just dream a little bit. Here's an interesting nugget. We might see a congressional map head to the Senate floor a day early. Was bumping around the legislature. How about legislature? I was bumping around the legislature's website last night, getting a grip on what's coming up today. And lo and behold, the Senate and Governmental Affairs meeting that was supposed to be on Wednesday is now scheduled to convene upon adjournment of the full Senate this evening. On the agenda for that committee meeting, all 4 redistricting bills.
Well, one of the things Iran wants in a peace deal is control or sovereignty over the Strait of Hormuz. But experts say that would violate international law.
I probably would, because Iran's not on the other side of it.
Right.
So, I mean, that would be like us claiming sovereignty over the Gulf of Mexico. Up, America. Gulf of America.
I know. I was like, wait up.
Whoop, 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 whoop.
The Supreme Court is leaving women's access to a widely used abortion pill untouched until at least Thursday, while the justices consider whether to allow restrictions on the drug mifepristone to take effect.
It's Prestone, I think. Mifepristone?
Prestone, yes.
So did you see the Attorney General's press release on this?
No.
Oh, Liz came out. Where is it?
I know she's hot about it.
No, I know. She's like, if y'all want to kill more babies, knock yourselves out.
Whoa.
Okay, here I'm paraphrasing. Her actual
I'm like, whoa.
Her actual press release says, big abortion drug dealers want an emergency stay so they can continue to profit from killing more babies by mail without any sort of medical oversight or concern for the health of women taking these pills. The administrative stay is temporary. I'm confident that life and the law will prevail in the end. We will never stop protecting women and babies in Louisiana, Attorney General Liz Moore.
I love how she calls them drug dealers. I mean, they technically are.
It is a drug, and they deal it. And there's also no oversight here. Look, this is beyond a pro-life or pro-choice topic. That ship has already sailed. The Roe v. Wade overturned, kicked back down to the states. It is now the state's decision as to whether or not you can have abortions within said state. That is the way it is right now. What this argument is about is, can you order something through the mail that 25% of women have an adverse reaction to?
Ooh.
5% of women end up in the emergency room over it. But like, if you're a 17-year-old girl and you get knocked up, and I'm just going to use that term, you get knocked up and you want to abort that baby, and you order this online, and then you start bleeding profusely, and then you can't hold down food. At what point do you go to the doctor because you've had these negative effects? At what point are you making your body worse because you don't want to tell anybody about it?
Right. Gosh.
Now, if you're pro-choice, your answer to all of that is, well, if abortion were legal, they wouldn't be in the situation. But the flip side of that is, this isn't about the abortion. It's about this is
the adverse effects of the drug.
Right.
The horrible effects of it. Yep. All right, Nudie. Am I saying it right?
Nudie.
Nudie.
There's a T, not a D. It's not nudie. Like
Nutty.
Yes.
The Nutria, who first went viral a few years ago when he was taken from, then returned to his adoptive family in New Orleans, passed away over the weekend.
Yeah. He made the round. You remember when he made the rounds on all the social media and all the different talk shows and everything? Yeah. So he passed away.
Oh.
And I know. So it's sad, but he also, as I understand it, the average lifespan of a nutria is about 3 years.
That's what I learned at my previous job. I worked around animals. Yeah.
Okay. So 5.5 is a good run. 5.5 is a very good run. Well, I mean, you could double your lifespan when you're not, running from alligators.
Oh my gosh. I remember when this story blew up because was it legal for him to even have the nutria in the first place? And that was that whole rigmarole.
Yeah. They weren't allowed as pets. So I'm trying to remember the rest of the story, but yeah, that was
eventually the family got him back.
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah. Which I don't know how.
I don't know how either, because if you can't have a nutria for a pet, how'd you get it back?
I'm pretty sure they wildlife and fisheries or whatever just hung on to him for a minute to let the process. Because I don't think anybody wanted to do this.
Right.
It was just, we have to file. I'm sorry, we got to follow law. Like, it's a law nobody understands. We got to do it anyway.
Right.
So I'm sure they just held on to him for a day. They didn't release him out in the wild and just brought home some other random nutria.
Love it.
Yeah. Like Jinxie the cat from Meet the Parents.
Oh my gosh.
612 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP, telling you about the 180 Pro Studio. Let me tell you about 180 Pros themselves. You can get up to 20% off this month when you partner with 180 Pros. All you got to do is hop on their website, 180pros.com, or better yet, give them a call, 225-330-2200. Small business owners, small business managers, who is your IT provider? And are you happy with them? If not, maybe you need to upgrade to an IT partner. Right from their website, we manage your computers, network, cloud, and cybersecurity so you can focus on running your business, not fixing tech problems. If in the off chance something goes wrong, you got to have somebody you can call. And you don't want that somebody to be out of city, out of state, or out of country. You want to have someone you can call who's here. 225, get it? Right here in Baton Rouge. 225-330-2200. Learn a heck of a lot more about having an IT partner, not an IT provider, at 180pros.com. I'm just going to riff on the Baton Rouge build phase 3 for the Plan Baton Rouge phase 3. That's what I'll do at 8:35. 7:55 was supposed to be a LRN story. This not sleeping shit is just it's got to go. I don't know what I'm doing wrong.
Did you ever get evaluated for a CPAP machine in a sleep study?
I don't need I can't sleep with a CPAP machine. Yeah.
That's my first go-to. Like when people can't sleep, I'll be like, "Are you breathing at night?"
Well, no. So I'll fall asleep. I'll wake up about 10, 15 minutes. Yeah, I'll wake up about 10, 15 minutes later, and I'll be awake.
And probably wide awake.
Yeah. And if I take drugs for it, I'm awake and I'm woozy as shit.
Because they I don't have to. God, I can't tell you the last time I took one, but they ended up putting me on Ambien. But that stuff makes people sleepwalk. Like it really doesn't. It never did it to me, but
I don't want to end up on the Mississippi River Bridge in pajamas. Why that bridge is wearing pajamas, I'll never know. Okay. Wow. I swear there are times where I wonder. Sorry, I'm a stickler for that word, ironically. That's
allegedly.
No, coincidentally.
No.
Oh, cuts 7, 8, and 9 at 7:55.
Getting to the point where the push comes to everybody's sticking themselves close to an Obama endorsement.
Obama.
.617 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP mornings with Brian Haldane rolling right along. LSU baseball is awful. I'm sorry, it's just
He went there.
The record's
I'm like,
so bad, but the thing is, nobody cares because we know it's getting fixed next season. Like we all know, you just flushed this season out. It was a bad run. We have a genius for a head coach. We have a rabid fan base. We have all the tools there. We just, if you'll pardon the pun, swung and missed this year.
Right. We love them anyways.
Well, I mean, we're 2 out of the last 3 national championships, and a number of things just didn't come together this season the way they should have. So, Glenn Gilbo, editor of Tiger Reg, says a lot has gone wrong. Duh. But the lack of development from pitchers returning from last year's team really sticks out. Cut 10, please.
What's surprising is that William Schmidt has not developed. He's been a mediocre pitcher for 2 years. And Casey Evans, even before he got hurt, was nowhere near what he was last year.
I don't know if I agree with that. I don't know if I agree with calling Schmidt mediocre for 2 years because he progressed as to where he was pitching and when he was pitching. I don't know if you can call the man mediocre for 2 years because he's the stats don't reflect when and where he's in the lineup. If you're mediocre on Friday night, it's a lot different than being mediocre on Tuesday night. Tuesday night, you're mediocre against the in-state schools. Friday night, you're mediocre against the best of the best of the best in the world. So you're clearly better. It's statistically, that's one thing, but in actuality, it's something completely different. By the way, sticking with it, Glenn Gilbo says injuries have also been a big issue. Cut 11.
Jake Brown was having a great season. He got hurt, so there's a lot of bad luck. And then Chris Stanfield was very good last year. He's been hurt all season with multiple injuries.
Yeah, he really has, and that has played a role into it. Starting pitcher Cooper Moore also got hurt back in March. Never came back. So you got the whole lineup out of whack all season long. Injuries happen to everybody. It was kind of glaring this year. The win and the wear once again. So LSU's got 3 games left in the regular season, 1 game or more in the SEC tournament. They would likely have to run the table at Hoover to make the postseason. Beyond that, here's the Fox Business Report. I mean, that's kind of an ass take. to say William Schmidt has been mediocre for 2 years. Like, if you progress from pitching against Nichols and what's his ERA? 4.22. Now, can I find stats from last year, please? Oh, hell. Right. That's fine. All right, we're looking at some congestion, or I should say some volume on I-12 westbound out by Range Avenue. The exact same volume you see every single morning around this time. It picks back up again, or your pace picks up back up again once you're past the Amy River on the way in. Now, outside of that, there is nothing else going on the interstates that I'm seeing on the map. And, well, with the exception of I-12 westbound in between, what is that, Essen and the 10-12 merge. You're going to find some more friends out on the road right now. It's not enough to really cause any serious delays. Surface Street, so that's what we're looking out for this morning, because there's an accident in the roadway. Airline Highway at Bluebonnet, or Airline Highway at Cedar Crest, depending upon which side of Airline Highway you're on right there. The accident is in the roadway. It's being worked right now, but you do need to be aware of it. There's also some congestion on Foster at Hermitage. And then from about an hour ago, this is still posted up there on the website, but it's I'm not showing delays as a result of it. There was an accident on 110 northbound at Chippewa, but like I said, I'm not seeing anybody affected by it. So either it was just left on the board, or, well, it's 110 northbound. I can't imagine there's a whole lot of traffic heading that way right now. That's really good traffic from the Talk 107.3 Traffic Center. Give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down if it is. 624 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP mornings with Brian Haldane, rolling right along. I say there shouldn't be a whole lot of people on I-110 northbound right now, unless, of course, you're going to the Baton Rouge Metro Airport, unless you're running a little bit late to get that flight, direct flight to Washington, D.C., which leaves out in the 6 o'clock hour, comes home in the 6 p.m. hour every single day. You learn more at flybtr.com, flybtr.com. In fact, I usually check the Baton Rouge Metro Airport's website every morning just to see if everything's on schedule or as scheduled. And yeah, as of right now, arrivals are looking good, and departures, you know what, that DC flight left right at 6. So I don't know why I thought I left a little bit later than that, but everything is on schedule right now. No, I'm not showing any delays throughout the morning. Your next flight to leave out from the Baton Rouge Metro Airport will take off for Charlotte, North Carolina, just after 7 o'clock this morning. As far as arrivals are concerned, you have a flight coming in from Atlanta at 9:45. But we're looking good right now. So when you're making your travel plans, business or pleasure, give the Baton Rouge Metro Airport a look. Take into account the entire cost, not just the cost of the ticket, but the cost of your time to drive down to New Orleans, the cost of parking, which is exorbitant in New Orleans, the cost of your mental state of mind dealing with that TSA nightmare down there. Look at it all at flybtr.com. We good to go? Okay. So, did Jay Morris call Darius Lannis boy? This is all the topic last night. West Monroe Senator Jay Morris is accused of using a racially derogatory term during a heated debate over a new congressional district map. Because tensions were running high, the meeting was briefly paused. Louisiana Democratic Party executive director Darius Lannis says when Morris got up from his seat, he told him, "Shut up, boy."
The first time, he said to the audience, "Y'all need to shut up." That was loud and clear. The second time, he said, "Y'all need to shut up, boy." And he was looking me directly in my face, which is why if you go and look at the video, the audience's reaction was like, wow, did this guy really just say that?
So I've watched it a number of times. And you know what? Let me send you the link to it, Bree Lynn. See if we can't squeeze that in here.
Holy smokes.
He didn't, though. I don't hear it. You don't see it. Like 3 people who were in the front said he said it. But everyone's reaction was just aghast to him saying to shut up, which I understand that. It is bold. It's bold. But at the same time, though, if you're sitting behind the person testifying and the entire time they're testifying, you're talking over them, you're speaking out of turn. If that's what you're doing the entire time, you got to expect a reaction. And honestly, you were probably looking for that reaction. He got baited. So Lannis was a guest on WRKS Talk Louisiana. So he was visiting with Jim Inkster, which is where we got this audio because we're partners with the Louisiana Radio Network. Morris denies using the word boy. Senate Governmental Affairs Chairman Caleb Kleinpeter, who was on with us yesterday, spoke with reporters and said the same thing right here. Caleb Kleinpeter said the same thing when he was on with us, and he says he does not believe he used the word boy either. Cut 7.
I want to go on the record that I've spoken to 3 different news stations that verified that Senator Morris did not say, in fact, what he's been accused of saying.
So the video from media members is inconclusive as to whether or not the word boy was used when confronting audience members. Kleinpeter says he spoke with several news organizations who were covering the 10th committee meeting. None of them heard Morris use the word boy. Cut 3.
WAFB and quite a few credible news stations have debunked that.
Which I wish that were enough. I wish that were enough. Let's see if we have time to get to it here. Lannis, by the way, says he knows what he heard.
He actually believes the fact, or wants people to believe the fact that he did not say what he said.
I don't know. This is going to be a matter of confirmation bias is what this is going to be a matter of. If you want to believe Lannis, you're going to believe Lannis. You're going to place that word in there when you look at the video, when you hear the audio. Dadgummit, how far back is it in this?
We have 1 minute left, so
okay,
we can play it if we have time.
Yeah, I want to make sure we have time. You know what? We're going to have to, let's do this at the top of the 7 o'clock hour during Top Stories and Trending. We'll carve out room for it to make sure we can actually use the audio here. I've like I said, I've watched it a number of times and I don't hear it. And we'll do our level best to make sure it's clear, it's audible, because there's a lot of chaos in the room at the time. Yeah, it's not in this story either. Dadgummit. We'll have it for you coming up a little bit later. I mean, if we can get to it sooner than 7 o'clock, we will. But we got Jeff Crouere coming on with us next. We got Bill Cassidy after that. So it might be during Top Stories and Trending. where we revisit this, and we'll play it as best we can and let you decide. In the meanwhile, closed primaries are here. Your vote decides who moves on. When the polls close Saturday at 8 p.m., join me for live results and your reaction. Listen on Talk 107.3 FM through the free Talk 107.3 app, or watch us live on Facebook or YouTube. Award-winning election coverage is right here on Talk 107.3.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, Lord.
I'll I have my computer muted.
Talk 107.3. Hey, good morning. Is this Jeff? Hey, I'm sorry when I called you for whatever reason. I couldn't hear anything. All right, we'll be coming to you in 1 minute, okay? Okay.
Emotions are running high in the state of Louisiana right now, as lawmakers attempt to redistrict the state, debating the new proposed maps for the state of Louisiana.
I just want the regular video. I don't want stupid social media commentary. Oh. Great, I'm blocked. Awesome.
Emotions are running high in the state of Louisiana right now. As lawmakers
Your mom's on the line.
redistrict the state.
Here it is. Nope. It's a picture. All right. We might have to just use it with this woman's commentary because nobody else is showing me the video here. No.
Emotions are running high is because this cut off and this happens. Senator Jay Morse then stands up and says something that erupts the crowd in anger.
Are we back already? Oh, holy hell. We're back already? All right. 636 Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP, mornings with Brian Haldane, rolling right along. Every Tuesday at about this time, we visit with Jeff Crouere down in New Orleans. We do that right now. Jeff, how are you, man?
Good morning. Hey, Brian.
Hey, I want to start with where we left off in our last segment. How many times have you watched the video of Jay Morse, and can you hear him say boy?
Oh, man. No, not really.
Yeah.
No, I can't.
Well, and there's a whole gaggle of people who are shouting him down. So, and by the way, they were shouting him down throughout the testimony as well, which sparked him saying, shut up. So
Right.
Let me ask you this question. Do you think there was a concerted effort to bait Jay Morse into saying something once he got off the microphone?
Possibly so, yeah.
That's because, I mean, why else would you have to shout from the peanut gallery about, what's going on, or like about what your opinions are when you're not on mic, unless you're
Right.
trying to goad someone into taking the bait, rising up their anger, and making them say something that they're going to regret. And look, and I still haven't heard it. I still didn't hear him say it. But
Right.
I just that when you turn around and tell an entire group of people, you need to shut up. Well, I mean, that to me, that kind of feels like, got him,
Yeah. And, I mean, what a day that was, right? I mean, what a circus.
Yeah.
But, we knew that was going to happen. We predicted that. So.
Oh, no, absolutely. Absolutely. I didn't know it was going to go to the level that it did.
Crazy.
Yeah. I mean, Gary Carter kind of lost his marbles too.
Right. Right. I mean,
So,
yeah, but, it's been going on. Look at what happened in Alabama. Look what happened in Tennessee.
Yeah.
I mean, this has been happening all over the country.
no, it is. And it's only going to get more heated because like a moth to the flame, we all react to the negative. And if we're all going to react to the negative is what's going to be reported. And if the negatives are reported, then we're all going to try and outdo each other because the next negative has to be more than this negative.
And this is going to be whipped up. I mean, Troy Carter, the congressman for this area.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't recall him doing town hall meetings before. And now he's doing town hall meetings. And he's, soliciting input from the community. And I don't recall him ever doing that before. I got to stick up for him for just a second because he comes on my show almost every week. Travel plans negated this week. He's not able to be on. He comes on 8:35 on Tuesdays just to check in on what he's doing for Louisiana in his district up in Washington, D.C. And he and I had a very heartfelt conversation about the whole voting district thing last week. And there was little to no hyperbole. There was little to no rhetoric. It was just a matter of why he believes differently than I do and why I believe differently than he does. It was just two dudes having a conversation. Yeah, and I like him. I mean, I think he's a great guy.
Yeah.
I mean, I think he's a great guy. But, I mean, this is something that is not going away, and it's going to be used politically. So, and he'll probably be the survivor in all this, I would think.
So that's where I was going to ask next, is because up here in Baton Rouge, if we're looking at a map that's going to end up 5-1, right?
Right.
5 Republicans, 1 Democrat. Who wins that battle? And Cleo Fields already went on 60 Minutes to say that he probably wouldn't run against Troy Carter.
Well, I mean, Troy Carter's been there longer, right?
Yeah.
And, the whole thing was engineered for Cleo Fields to begin with, which is another story. But, I would think Troy Carter would be the one who would be, I think it's going to be a 5-1 arrangement. I think it'll be Troy Carter being the representative. So, in some of these states, there's not going to be any Democrat districts, probably. I mean, look at what Virginia tried to do. They tried to take out every Republican district, and that's a 53-47 state, except one. It was going to be a 10-1 deal until the court struck it down.
Yeah, and there's no way that there should be balance across the nation, and we should not be reacting to individual ebbs and flows of politics. It should be based off the census every 10 years. And the breakdown should be compact, contiguous, shared interests. The Voting Rights Act of 1965, though, throws this, wrench into the works to jam things up and say, well, now you have to throw out the first 3 in order to take care of whether or not you have enough minority population or majority minority districts. But when you look at a map, I don't know how you do that. And I still don't know how you do that.
Right. And that's why Troy Carter's district meets that criteria a lot better than obviously Cleo Fields' district did.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You've got heavy African American in New Orleans, heavy African American in Baton Rouge, heavy poor African American up and down the river in between.
Exactly.
But it's a shared interest in the river.
Right.
Like Troy Carter's district is all about the bottom of the Mississippi River. So I get that. I share a lot more in common with my neighbors of every race than I do of people from the other side of Natchitoches.
Well, exactly. So, that's what we have to, and it's just a shame that everything gets to be racial. That's just how things turn out. And that is unfortunate. And then, of course, you got the whole issue of domination of the Congress and how, where the power is going to lie. And a few weeks back, I mean, who would have thought that the Republicans would have a fighting chance to hold on to the House? Right. And now, because of this, they do.
Yeah. Yeah. And I don't know where it goes from there. Talk with Jeff Crouere, host of Ringside Politics. We visit every Tuesday. So from the legislative session, aside from the maps, what's really hitting down in New Orleans that's catching everybody's eyes and ears?
Well, I mean, there's a lot of debate about the seat here, the clerk position, and the consolidation that has occurred between criminal and civil, making New Orleans in line with the rest of the parishes. Of course, Calvin Duncan has been elected, served for a few hours, and then he was not, in a position because the position wasn't there any longer. Right. So the city council wants to obviously create a new election, have an interim. The attorney general says, no, you can't. So that's going to be continuing legal battles about that. So that's been getting a lot of attention, obviously, because of who Calvin Duncan is and who this position is, and how some believe, again, this is targeting New Orleans, and that New Orleans is being unfairly treated, et cetera, et cetera. So then, of course, with the new sheriff finally, this is the longest interim period I can imagine that we've had to wait before electing a sheriff and the new sheriff taking office, and then the old sheriff being indicted. So, there's a lot of relief that we've got a new mayor and a new sheriff, and finally can go in a new direction.
With the Calvin Duncan story, which is, his backstory, you talk about who he is. For those in Baton Rouge that don't know who he is, go into a little bit of detail about his past and why this situation is unique.
Well, I mean, this is a guy who served years in jail, became educated behind bars, was released from jail, then decided to run for office, wound up getting elected, but not just getting elected. I mean, he won with like 68% of the vote. He assumed office for few hours. He filed a federal lawsuit challenging the constitutionality of the act that was passed by the legislature. So he's got a lot of supporters down here. People believe that he should be allowed to serve in a position that he was elected to. And then you've got another clerk who's a longtime politician, Chelsea Napoleon, and it pits each one of them against each other. Right. And then you've got the council getting involved and saying, hey, we got to have an election because there's a new position, and what the AG is saying is no. So she's warning the council against appointing an interim clerk, which they did, or calling an election, which they did. This will be another another legal battle.
We got 1 minute to go with Jeff Crouere, host of Ringside Politics. Let me ask you this before we get out, Jeff. Is there any way to remove Calvin Duncan's story from the overall situation? Because this was going to be called into question or taken away whether Calvin Duncan won or not. He's not the main character here.
Right, he's not. But he's becoming the major part of the story because of his background, because of how he won. And because, he was elected and now is not able to serve in the position that he was elected because what, the legislature did. The timing of it was unfortunate in that, he was elected and then not allowed to. If this would have been done in the middle of a term, I think it would have been not as controversial.
Yeah.
But the fact it was done before he's really allowed to serve in the term that he was elected to serve makes it controversial, and some people again are saying, hey, you're targeting New Orleans.
Right.
But in reality, New Orleans has got to fall in line with the rest of the state.
That's overlooked in the whole discussion. And
we've got to have efficiency in New Orleans. We have it in other parishes.
Mm-hmm.
Orleans has got to have the same sort of efficiency. It's ridiculous that in so many positions we have two, and there's so much duplicated power and waste. So I like the fact that this was passed. I just think the timing was unfortunate.
With you 100%. He's Jeff Crouere, host of Ringside Politics. Coming up, you're on the air in about 12 minutes from right now. Always appreciate the time, man. We'll talk to you next week.
Thank you, Brian.
Thank you. We're coming up on 6:48 at Talk 107.3. Quick break. Come back next. We'll hit the spot for your money now. Call it in. Oh shit.
Hey, good morning. We'll be coming to you in 2 to 3 minutes, okay?
All right, I'm sending you a link to the Twitter that has the video. It's
Erupts the crowd in
It's 48 seconds in when you get to the y'all need to shut up part. Yeah. And I got to find out how to mute my damn computer because my computer's supposed to be muted. That went smooth. Modest Mouse. .652 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP mornings with Brian Haldane rolling right along. Got ABC News coming up about 7.5 minutes from right now, which means we need to take every second that we can and hand them off to Senator Bill Cassidy, who is on your ballot throughout early voting and will be on your ballot this Saturday if you did not take part in early voting. How are you, Senator?
I am doing really well, Brian Haldane. How are you?
Well, did you early vote? Have you already voted?
I early voted, absolutely. My wife and I both went. My daughter went. But all that to say, yeah, if you haven't early voted, go out and vote this Saturday. The Senate race is taking place. And if you're no party, you're going to have to request either a Democrat or Republican ballot. A Republican's going to win. So if you want your vote to matter, pick a Republican ballot and, of course, vote Bill Cassidy.
We get Senator Cassidy on with us talking about this upcoming weekend. So I know it's all third party. I know it's all PACs and whatnot, but this week is going to be brutal, Senator. I'm getting like 8-9 texts a day at this point. Apparently between you and your opponents, I mean, we've got just every negative thing out there is just rolling right now. Is it going to get worse before it gets better?
Well, wait a second. I mean, when people say something negative, if you say something which is a lie, then it shouldn't be said.
Right.
And Governor Landry's super PAC going after Fleming is saying things which just are blatantly false. Okay, he's my opponent, but I'm going to say that. Okay. On the other hand, if a super PAC is pointing out that the Congresswoman has made a lot of money on stock trades on companies that have presented themselves before her subcommittee, and 2 days later she trades on it, that's a fact. Now, voters should know that.
Well, she also got through a third party, though. Like, she was on last week to talk about that. And
the
actually,
third party never put out a notice. The third party never confirmed what she said. She says the third party did it independently. The third party would not verify that. Go
ahead.
That's fair game. The second thing is, if on DEI, she says on camera, when she's applying for the job at ULM, she believes in DEI, it should be a fully staffed department, having input into any decision before the final decision is made. And then when she's speaking to the press announcing for the Senate, she says, I knew it was in academics, but I always opposed it. Now, she's speaking to camera both cases.
Mm-hmm.
That's not a lie. That is her speaking to camera.
Let me get this back.
I don't consider that dirty.
Well, let me get this back on track, because I was actually setting it up for you to be able to respond to the negatives against you, because this is your platform right now. So I wanted to keep it about Senator Cassidy. And the texts I've been getting from whatever big PACs or whatever, talking about you getting millions from big pharma and healthcare lobbyists. I was just going to give you the platform to respond and, possibly shoot down what's coming at you.
Yeah, it's really interesting, because President Trump's team was in my office 3 weeks ago or 4 weeks ago, asking for my help to write the legislation to control pharmaceutical costs. And President Trump just signed into law a month or so ago a piece of legislation with a portion that I negotiated to help control the cost of pharmaceuticals. So the president's team and the president are working with me to control the cost of pharmaceuticals. Now, this would go into the category of things which are lies. Wait a second. How can you have it both ways? The president is relying on Cassidy, working with me and my team to control the cost of pharmaceuticals, but somehow he's in the pocket of pharmaceuticals. By the way, other pieces of legislation the president has signed have come from me. And so, in fact, if you want to look at who has had the most bills signed into law by President Trump regarding pharmaceutical control and the price of pharmaceuticals, or anything, by the way, it would be Bill Cassidy. That's an easy one, because the Congresswoman has never had a single bill signed into law. And so, again, that's a fact. I'm not throwing mud. And by the way, I wrote the bill to attempt to repeal Obamacare. Now, it failed because I lost 2 Republicans. But point being that when the president in his first term and his second term has needed people to control the cost of health care, I'm the guy who's written the legislation. So that's just that.
Senator Bill Cassidy is with us, getting ready for this upcoming Saturday's election. Senator, I'm sure you get numbers on a regular basis. It looks like Republicans are not turning out at the same level of as Democrats through early voting. Does that give you any kind of pause or concern?
So it's a closed partisan primary.
Right.
And so I think if you're in St. George, you probably should be a little concerned about your ballot initiative.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that. I understand that African Americans are incredibly upset because of Governor Landry, one, canceling the House races after they already began. And people are already voted by mail. And so they're very upset about that. But on the other hand, this is a closed partisan primary. And so if you're no party or Republican, you can vote. There's not really a ballot that's between Democrats and Republicans now. And there's some constitutional amendments that one side probably favors and the other doesn't. But in terms of the Senate race, these are closed partisan primaries. Now, as it turns out, a Republican is going to win the general election in the fall. It just is.
Yeah.
We're a Republican state. And so if there's a no party, you're going to be asked, do you want a Democrat or Republican or no party ballot? And you need to request a Republican ballot if you want to vote, if you want your vote to matter. Because on the Republican side is where the winner, the ultimate senator from the state of Louisiana is going to come from.
We got less than a minute to go with Senator Bill Cassidy, who will be on your ballot on Saturday if he wasn't already on your ballot through early voting. Last question for you, Senator, is do you think there's any confusion out there based off of the congressional districts, confusion as to what's playing out in your election?
Yes. People are confused. Is there a Senate race taking place? There is a Senate race taking place. There's a lot of things that are confusing about this race for voters, which is part of the problem with it. The election should serve the voter, not the voter of the election, but that's another story. But if you want to vote for the next senator of the state of Louisiana, it's going to be this Saturday. And if you're no party, you need to request a Republican ballot if you want to vote in the Republican primary. You can just check a box and boom, you're there. But you got to remember to do that. So get out and vote, and vote, of course, Bill Cassidy.
May 16th, we'll have election coverage for you that night. Senator Cassidy, I appreciate a couple minutes this morning.
Hey, thank you, Brian.
Thank you. Here comes news. And I have no time to unpack that. Holy shnikes. Holy shnikes. You know that line in Godfather 3 when Michael says our true enemy has yet to reveal himself? Cassidy knows who his real opponent is, and it ain't John Fleming. Wow. I honestly don't know who I'm voting for. But he sounded scared. He sounded scared of Julia. Wait, he defended Fleming and attacked Julia.
Is this the first time you talked to him?
In about a month.
Oh.
Maybe a little bit less. Woo! I hate when they do that, though. I want when you're on, you're supposed to be talking about you. You're not supposed to talk about somebody else. I may have not done the best job of teeing up that question. That might be on me for teeing up that question. But I was teeing it up to say you're called the big pharma guy. You're anti-Trump, blah, blah, blah. And he had the right answer for that. He did. Did you get the audio from the thing? Okay. I wish. I told him when he was in here with Moon, which is every day with Moon, but he's Moon's co-host at this point. I told him, I said, call, have your people call to get it set up. I don't know what to do because I don't know whose people are. They call me. Matt calls me. Oh.
Brian Haldane. I'm gonna get you Clement.
I mean, Matt calls me, Ashley calls me, Sean calls me, like everybody else. Hey, we're looking for some airtime. Okay, cool. I've never said no. And I'm not going to say no to Fleming either, because, yeah, the guy's getting a bad rap. Ooh. Yeah. I think so. That would be a boat race. That would be a runaway. Because there's not a single Cassidy voter.
You said it's 43, right?
48.
Shut up.
So can you dub that?
I don't hear anything.
Yeah.
All right. She needs to.
Ups the crowd in anger. Morse then stands up and says something.
You don't want her, right?
Ups the crowd in anger.
No, I don't want her at all. I want y'all. I want the Morse in the crowd.
Okay. I'm just gonna play it out.
Paul Rico texts me. He says, Bill sounds scared. I said, bro, that was loud and clear. Paul says, peeing in his pants. I said, that's a separate issue. It happens.
Oh, Lord, Brian. That's a separate issue. It happens.
Oh, wow. No time to unpack that on the back end, by the way. 7:05, Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP, Mornings with Brian Haldane, rolling right along. Hour 2 coming your way right now. Brian here with you, Breland producing, broadcasting live from the 180 Pros studio. Is it time for your IT to do a 180? Visit 180pros.com. We're starting off your 7 o'clock hour at 67 degrees in downtown Baton Rouge. I'm not sure when I'm going to unpack that last interview, but we just had Senator Bill Cassidy on. If you're just tuning in, the senator, I hate when candidates talk about other candidates during the interview. And I kind of have to fall on the sword on this one. I may have set up the question wrong. I was talking about negative campaigning, and I left a crack in the door. I was setting it up for him to talk about, for Cassidy to talk about how all the ads say he's big pharma Bill and he's anti-Trump. I was opening the door for that, and he took it towards Letlow instead, which tells me two things. Number one, that's who he views his main competition is. And number two, he was just ready to pile on. Like, he was ready to pile on that. And it's election week, and I understand it. You got so much time to talk about yourself. Talk about yourself. I've never been a big vote against someone guy. I've always been a big vote for someone guy. So we got a busy hour this hour. We are going to talk with Trey Godfrey from the Greater Baton Rouge Economic Partnership in about 10 minutes from right now. We got Baton Rouge Police Chief TJ Morse coming up at 7:35. Right now, though, let's start off with top stories and trending. A Parkview Baptist school coach arrested after allegedly texting with a 14-year-old student about her sex life has been released from the East Baton Rouge Parish Prison after posting a $15,000 bond over the weekend. Patrick Yamtab, I believe I'm pronouncing that right, was arrested on Thursday, May 7th on charges of indecent behavior with a juvenile. According to jail records, he was no longer booked at the parish prison by Sunday. Just a heads up, this afternoon at 2, the Louisiana Secretary of State's office will test their electronic election results system in preparation for the upcoming May 16th party primary and municipal primary election. During the test period, the Secretary of State's website will display mock results. These are mock results. This is not real. They are mock results. Don't think you have a scoop at 2 today. It'll be a busy back half of the year for infrastructure out in Livingston Parish. Officials plan to release 12 road projects out for bid this year. By the way, the first 3 projects are expected to begin within the next month. The Downtown Development District is holding a special meeting today to review the recommendations from Plan Baton Rouge Phase 3. Suggestions include, among other things, an enhanced promenade, a large park with a playground, a pedestrian bridge from the Capitol, a lot of mixed-use ideas out there, a sports hub, and a whole lot more. No word about bringing back Fun Fair Park. That was number 2. Yeah. Here's an interesting nugget. We might see a congressional map head to the Senate floor a day early. Bumping around the legislature's website last night, rather than meeting on Wednesday, the Senate and Governmental Affairs Committee will convene upon adjournment of the full Senate this evening. On the agenda, all 4 redistricting bills. Wait, before we get to what's trending, Breland, we have to go back to our 625 segment.
Yes,
Are we able? Did we get the audio?
We did.
Okay.
I'm gonna have to play it straight out of X.
Okay, so this is, and there's like some commentary from some woman on it.
So if she starts talking,
so if we can narrow it down to just Jay Morris talking to the crowd behind him. Good. All right, that's all of it, right? Okay, so cue it back, and I want to hear one more time. So what is the accusation here is Jay Morris turned around and said, y'all need to shut up, and he said it twice. Darius Lannis, the executive director of the State Democratic Party, says Jay Morris called him boy. And it's completely inaudible. If you can hear the word boy in there, I hear the word wow off the first one. I hear that coming in. As soon as he says y'all need to shut up, I hear wow. After that, it's jumbled noise. Hit it one more time.
Out in anger.
Yeah, I don't.
I don't hear.
I know.
I hear wow.
I know.
Like you said, that's it.
3 different people say he said it. I mean, they were all sitting right there. 3 different people say he said it. Jay Morris says he didn't. Caleb Kleinpeter says he didn't. Every news outlet that was there, there's no audible recording of it, and there's multiple recordings of it. So, like, there's multiple recordings of the interaction. There's nothing audible that says he said. So, anyway, we were talking about it earlier in the show. Wanted to play back the audio for you. That was it right there. What's trending?
Yep. One of the things Iran wants in a peace deal is control or sovereignty over the Strait of Hormuz. But experts say that would violate international law.
Wouldn't it, though? I mean, you can't own, they can't own both sides of the river.
I want my cake and eat it too.
Yeah. It's Strait of Hormuz.
I know. I feel like I hear that word
way too often.
I know
I see
so much about Strait of Hormuz.
Well, it's not a river. It's the 2 different gulfs, and the strait meets the 2 gulfs. I say it's a river because it's condensed down.
Right.
But you're running from the Persian Gulf to the Gulf of Oman, and on the other side is United Arab Emirates, and I'm gonna break on the last country. Dang it, I'm not remembering right now. But the moral of the story is you don't own both sides of the water, so you can't have sovereignty over the strait.
Right.
So that makes no sense.
The Supreme Court is leaving women's access to a widely used abortion pill untouched until at least Thursday, while the justices consider whether to allow restrictions on the drug mifepristone to take effect.
Yeah. And this is so much bigger than a pro-life versus pro-choice argument. A pro-life versus pro-choice argument is unbelievably divisive and has never been something that anyone can agree on. This is beyond that, because we're talking about a drug that causes medical side effects.
I didn't realize how many negative side effects it had.
20 to 25% of women who take this drug have some level of negative side effect. Provided I have my numbers right. I'm going off of, I was listening to Lars Larson last night. So I'm going off of what Lars Larson was saying. He said 5% of women have to go to the emergency room. I mean, there's nothing else out there where if you're sending 5% of the people who take it to the emergency room, you're getting pulled off the shelves. And to go through this without oversight from a doctor, without consultation from a doctor, it's a bad call.
Newty, the Nutria, who first went viral a few years ago when he was taken from, then returned to his adopted family in New Orleans, passed away over the weekend.
Poor Nudie. Yeah. Well, I say that.
Newty. Yeah.
Nudie. 5.5 years, a good run for a Nutria.
It is.
I mean, that's
average lifespan 3 years.
Yeah. I think everybody's Google search included that last night.
Right.
How long does a Nutria normally live? And it says in the wild 3 years. I'm like, of course, in the wild. These are the only jackholes that have one as a pet.
Right.
Like who else goes out and gets a Nutria as a pet?
It's
God bless.
I know, right?
God bless.
Rest in peace, Newty.
Yeah. All right. I'm not getting one. Ugly,
I'm good with my dog and my 3 cats.
Ugly swamp rat.
With the teeth. You ever saw their teeth?
With the orange
long,
teeth?
yeah.
All right. Trey Godfrey's waiting patiently while we're talking about a stupid Nutria. Tell you what.
He's back here just cracking up.
For more than 115 years, ExxonMobil has helped power Louisiana through good jobs, a strong focus on safety, and long-term investment in our communities. As energy needs change, ExxonMobil is applying that experience to new solutions like carbon capture and storage. Projects that help support industry, keep jobs here at home, and bring new opportunities to markets across Louisiana. It's familiar work done in a new way. If you want to learn more, visit aboutlaccs.com. That's LA is in Louisiana, CCS is in carbon capture and storage. Aboutlaccs.com. There you go.
There we go. A political attack ad.
Oh. How are you, sir?
All is well, man. You doing all right?
Yeah. Can we have a few more battles going on all at once?
Listen, we got. Somebody asked me yesterday how session was going. And I said, if you asked me 2 weeks ago, week and a half ago, answer would have been completely different.
Beautifully.
It was so chill, man. The Capitol felt good.
I hadn't been out there since the Supreme. Well, no, I was out there the day the Supreme Court ruling came down, but I haven't been out there since the governor nixed the elections.
That's when everything kind of shifted, and then Friday, oh boy.
She's not bad. She's grown on me.
Anywho's,
yeah.
It's
rough. It was rough yesterday. It's going to be worse today.
Yeah.
Because SGA, well, you just mentioned it. SGA is back this afternoon.
Yeah, I stumbled across that last night, and then
Well, look, I'm in the show right
now I saw this morning Advocate and BRZ have it as well, which doesn't take
I'm
much to look
thinking
at
of you. Okay.
the legislature's website.
That's right.
It's,
Okay. Bye.
but someone's going to say they're trying to sneak it past by moving the meeting,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like, no, it's right there for the public to see. So what are we talking about?
The new tea to nutria.
No thanks. We can riff on session internships as well.
Okay. Well, I thought we were supposed to be session primarily, but I meant like within it. What are you?
Okay. Senate Bill 376 we did with Mizell, which is on high school campus business partnerships to facilitate internships for students. Ask me about TOPS and MJ Foster because we passed 2 resolutions in the last 2 weeks on that. And then we can talk a little bit kind of talent workforce in general, and then maybe pivot for a minute to internships.
Okay. I am going to ask about the maps and the tone because does it derail everything from here on in?
Good.
So. $716 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP mornings with Brian Haldane rolling right along. Trey Godfrey from the Greater Baton Rouge Economic Partnership is our guest. How are you, sir?
Outstanding. It is always good to be here with you, man.
I love when you're in studio. Love when you come by and chat. I apologize for keeping you on the shelf. I'll talk about a stupid nutria.
It's all good.
It was such a big story when it happened, and in all seriousness, it did look cute when he was all bundled up, and anybody with when they've got their adopted family, the animal's going to look cute. Then it smiles and ruins the whole thing.
How about it?
Yeah. We got a lot going on over the legislative session. There's a couple of individual bills I want to talk about, but I first want to start off with tone, if we could, because we were talking during the break, and you couldn't be more right. How's the tone of the session right now?
Oh boy! Look, if you had asked me that a week and a half or 2 weeks ago, my answer would be completely different.
Yeah.
Right? This session, unlike the past few, legislators eased into it, took some of the simpler bills, started enjoying each other's company, and things were chill, like notably. And then, a few things happened all at once.
Wednesday before last, the Supreme Court came down and said it's an unconstitutional district. And then Friday before last, I think it was Friday. Was it Thursday or Friday? I think it was Friday before last. The governor said, we got to call off the congressional elections. And everything exploded.
Yeah. So you want to talk about tone? It shifted 180 degrees from that point. Now, coming into session, I thought that the big fights and disputes were going to be around carbon capture and issues like that. Didn't have a sense that the Calais decision was going to come down. We knew at some point it would, and we knew that legislators were ready because bills were pre-filed in regards to maps. But the tone has taken a precipitous shift.
And I'm not going to ask you to sound off on the nature of Calais decision and the governor's reaction, but when the tone changes like that, you've been around a little bit, you've been around the state legislature a little bit. When the tone changes like that, are there adverse effects, or are they able to compartmentalize?
It really depends. Now, the biggest impact you'll have is some bills will not move because a lot of legislators will be behind the scenes negotiating, working on maps, as opposed to pushing their other legislation forward.
Right.
So there are some really, really good bills that just will not get hearings in committee, or if they've already been heard and gotten to the floor, they won't move to the other side strictly because of the logistical challenge of being, 3 weeks remaining in session and trying to move maps through versus everything else through.
Right.
Some relationships are frayed too. And so
that's the thing, though, is you can't have a race war in committee room F and then move over to committee room E and be happy.
Yeah, that's right.
You don't check your feelings. You can't completely check your feelings at the door.
You cannot completely do that.
Right.
And so, yes, there's always some level of compartmentalization. If somebody's got a bill that you disagree with, you're not going to vote against every other bill that legislator runs. You just compartmentalize that one and move on. But in big issues like this, when emotions are so high, yes, there's plenty of carryover.
Yeah, I would imagine so. I mean, they're human. That's just I know we like to view our elected officials as something different, removed from having actual human emotion, but they do. In the meanwhile, oh, by the way, when you talk about legislators being tied up, we had Caleb Kleinpeter on about this yesterday, and he said he's gotten most of what he wants to get done handed off to somebody on the other side to carry it for them. So once you've crossed that threshold, once you've gone from one side of the building to the other, hey, y'all run with this. I gotta go be a cartographer.
One of the bills that he has, which is a really good bill, deals with mineral rights, and not certain if that's going to be able to move forward. I certainly hope it does. If not, then maybe 2027. But those are casualties when like really big hot button issues take over like this one.
Trey Godfrey from the Greater Baton Rouge Economic Partnership is our guest. One of the best things to see when you pull up a list of bills, the words "sent to governor." Sent to governor is one of the greatest things to see on the legislative website. SB 376 by Senator Beth Mizell, sent to governor. This is one that y'all had teamed up with her to get done, and so far so good. I mean, all it needs is a signature.
That's it. So sent to governor is outstanding. Signed by governor is even better. And so
having that word "act" in there, act would help.
That would really help. And so, look, during session, when a bill is sent to the governor, there's a 10-day period during which the governor can either sign or veto it before it automatically becomes law. So, but it has been a joy working with Senator Mizell on this, what we call the Learn and Earn Act.
Rewind the clock to help set the table, because I know we've talked about it before, but tell us what this does.
Yeah, well, it's so fun to talk about. So one of the things that we as an organization have really prioritized in our talent development work has been high school student internships. But we run into barriers because if you go to rural areas, there's no business density where students can just easily go to an internship. So they're locked out just by geography, right? Students without transportation are locked out because they can't get to and from internships. And so our boss, Laurie, asked us a kind of a basic but deep question one day. Well, if we can't get students to internships, then how do we get internships to students? And so this businesses on school campuses in partnership model, like Walker High School, became what we dove into. There were two past attorney general opinions, though, that had to be cured in 2017 and in 2025. So we wrote the legislation using those opinions and just reverse engineered the legislation to cure those opinions to open this concept up statewide.
Love that. What kind of businesses are we talking about that have these internships?
Yeah, so the legislation requires any business partnership to have students working inside of any BESI pathway. So as long as that pathway is approved, then that business is eligible for a partnership with the school or school district. So think paint and body shops, think print shops, think banks or credit unions, things like that, where students are getting real world experience and having customer facing opportunities when those businesses serving the public. I mean, picture a physical therapy clinic who can actually serve people in the neighborhood. Picture, dare I even mention, a grocery store, even serving an area that could be a food desert.
Really?
I saw an amazing model in North Dakota, of all places, really, really rural place, where there is a grocery co-op on a school campus staffed by students. Students get credit and they serve the community around that school.
Wow. Okay. Would this have a name like, speaking of a grocery store or a credit union or a body shop, would they be connected to a name from, like, if it's Medine's Collision Center, is Medine's picking up the baton and running with this? Because that would kind of, you got to worry about, the government picking winners and losers.
Well, the legislation allows school boards to go into these partnerships. Now there's a reciprocity element to it. So any public value that a business gets, say free space on a school campus, they've got to bring an equal or greater value in reciprocity to the table. And that's, student wages, that's upgrades, anything like that. But they can't just get something free such that the government can pick winners and losers.
Okay. All right. Just making sure. We got Trey Godfrey in with us from the Greater Baton Rouge Economic Partnership. The other thing about this, the last time you and I talked about this, I think my favorite thing about it is when you have an internship that's off campus, it's out of sight, out of mind. When you have an internship that's on campus, especially if it's a paid internship on campus, when you have an internship on campus, all the other students are able to visibly see what you're doing. They're visibly able to see that you're moving up and you're moving on. It's a different perception when it's boots on the ground versus boots leaving.
That's exactly right. As visible as that can be, the better. And I love the fact that you mentioned the word paid, because these internships, as soon as it's assigned, the law that this will become, the law requires students to be paid inside of these work-based learning environments on their school campuses.
Yeah, which is important because, well, you're not tapping into free labor for one thing.
Exactly.
That is one that has been sent to the governor, awaiting a signature right now. Where are we at with TOPS and the Foster Project?
Yeah.
I almost said Michael Foster Project. That's a Live After 5 show.
I really hope Mike is listening to this, by the way. That's just how popular you are.
Yeah.
But yeah,
so good. So whenever they're at Live After 5, I fight to see that show.
Oh, of course.
It's the best show there is.
Long time friends, and I hope you're listening, because this is pretty funny that Mike Foster like merges with MJ Foster Promise.
Right. Promise, not project.
There you go. But yeah, so we spend hundreds of millions of dollars in public money every year educating our students, and people have opinions about what happens next, right? Well,
Right.
you know, we're the training grounds for, you know, fill in the blank with another state or something like that. Well, we filed 2 resolutions, one to study TOPS and what is the actual ROI for the state of Louisiana. So data sharing across agencies such that we can see from K-12 into higher ed, and then working with the Workforce Commission, Louisiana Works, to see what happens on the back end. Are these folks employed in the state of Louisiana? Are they employed in high wage, high demand occupations? What happens next? And that's always been a blank spot for us. Now we're going to be able to find that out.
Oh, I love this, because every year it's just re-up TOPS, add more. But yeah, are we getting value? And the other part of this is, are the universities themselves going out of their way to recruit the right kids? The money's there.
That's right.
But is the want.
That's it.
Speaking as a parent who, my daughter's in Mississippi for she goes to Southern Miss now. And there was just no, Southern Miss said, come here, please. And in Louisiana, just wasn't like that. So Southern Miss said, we'll make the money work. Whatever you were getting with TOPS, we'll knock down out of state. We'll match this. We'll match that. And there was a want to. You know, there was Alabama's doing it. Ole Miss is doing it. Arkansas is doing it. A handful of others that I'm not mentioning right now. They're actively recruiting our students. So having TOPS is one thing, but having the want to push them in the right direction is another.
That's it. And you hit the nail on the head. And in things that you just mentioned occupy a lot of conversations, both in and out of the Capitol, as far as TOPS goes, because yes, a lot of SEC institutions are very aggressive in how they recruit. And so as far as TOPS goes, the state of Louisiana Board of Regents and all of our higher ed institutions do a fabulous job providing opportunities. The question is, what happens next?
Right.
And so we then extended that to studying our 2-year and technical training program, scholarship programs, TOPS Tech and MJ Foster Promise. Show us now it's a far smaller body of data than TOPS, but let's see exactly what our return is on the hundreds of millions of dollars of taxpayer money that we're putting into these programs every year.
Is this a 1-year study on both ends? I mean, are we able to, is that a big enough sample size?
So the TOPS study will be at least a decade and a half longitudinal study. So we'll be able to go back for a while and pull all that data together. So we'll have a really good body. Okay.
So we're not starting fresh with this graduating class or whatever.
Oh, no.
To say, are they sticking around? We've got the data on the last decade to be able to pull and say, this is who's left. This is who stayed. This is what money I don't want to say wasted, because education's never a waste, but from Louisiana's perspective, this is whose states we're picking up the tab.
That's exactly right.
That's brutal. How long does the study take?
So there'll be findings that'll be presented to the education committees in February 2027.
February of 27. All right.
So
on the calendar.
We'll have a really good sense of what's what. And then if there's legislation that comes out of this, then it'll be ready.
30 seconds left. Is there anything still pending in this legislative session that the partnership's looking for?
As far as our priorities, we've gotten these 3 to the finish line. We're just, like I said, awaiting the ink to dry on the governor's Sharpie on Senate Bill 376.
Looking forward to it. He's Trey Godfrey from the Greater Baton Rouge Economic Partnership. Always appreciate the time, man.
Always. Thanks so much.
Here comes news, traffic, weather. Chief Morse is next. Yeah, I was 4 seconds early. That's on me. Kill the mics, please. Ooh, new post from IDE. New post from IDE. Nope, not my daughter's team. Are we really going to play basketball on the 4th of July? In the Red, White, and Relentless tournament.
Oh, Lord.
AAU is such. Red, White, and Relentless. My wife and I keep laughing at a TikTok. We're both down the rabbit hole of AAU TikTok now. But there's one that says, if the word elite is in your team name, you're probably not. I can't stop laughing at that because everywhere we go, at least 2 other, possibly 3 other teams are called something elite. And there's don't really see that, but there's one in town. The guy calls himself Joe Elite, and he's a very popular trainer around town. But it's, if your team name is elite, you're probably not. Can't get enough of that. God, how good is Trey, huh?
Who is this? Is that Franz's mama?
Yeah. said Michael Foster Project instead of Murphy J. Foster Promise. Oh my God. That might be the dumbest thing I do today. I hope that's the dumbest thing I do today. Yeah.
The band Michael Foster Project. You need sleep, Brian.
Mm-hmm. Doing a great job. Great job.
If she wins, Saturday, you got a hard lineup.
Oh. Well, I can't though, because it'll be narrowed down to 2, and I'm still not picking favorites. Because I'll endorse issues, but I can't endorse candidates. 736 Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP, mornings with Brian Haldane, rolling right along. Hey, y'all, we're ready to take the show on the road again. Cannot wait for this. The day after Memorial Day and the day after that, we're going to be on location at the Ernest Morial Convention Center in New Orleans for the Teacher Leaders Summit. Every year, the Louisiana Department of Education puts this on, and this will be the third or fourth year in a row that they've brought me out to it. It is unbelievable. Teachers in Louisiana looking to get better. You see us rising up the rankings when it comes to literacy and numeracy. Yeah, we're seeing results from their efforts. And when I tell you, it is so inspiring to see all these teachers from all over the state converge on the Morial Convention Center at the end of the school year when they should be dead to the world. They should be clocked out either watching daytime television on a sofa or drinking something with an umbrella in it on a beach. But they're there getting after it, getting better at their task, getting better at their craft, getting better at their vocation, so that when next year rolls in, our students will be the recipients of that effort. Teacher Leader Summit, Department of Education puts it on, and we'll be broadcasting live Tuesday, May 26th, and Wednesday, May 27th. Right now, though, speaking of being on the road, our chief of police is up in our nation's capital. Chief Morse, how are you, sir?
Hey, Brian, how you doing this morning?
I am very well this morning. You're up in D.C., so tell us all about what Police Week is.
Yeah, so came up to D.C. yesterday. We flew up with Sergeant Caleb Bosworth's family and a bunch of our officers, about 40 of us total with the family and our officers. And we're here this week to honor him as his name is added to the law enforcement memorial wall up here in D.C.
That's important. It's important, and it's actually reassuring that it's done on a national level, because I mean his name will be remembered around here for a long time. But when you zoom out like that, how heavy does that hit with the family for them to have reassurance of others having their back?
Yeah, so it's a very busy, very heavy week, but it is also encouraging because you get to kind of be around other people from across the country that are going through similar things. We get to love on the family. I mean, it's an impressive thing. Just stepping off the plane, we're greeted with 40 honor guard people that make a tunnel saluting us as we get off, and just go throughout the week with different events from candlelight vigil to memorial out on the Capitol lawn. And so it is a really cool thing. I got to experience it. I say got to, fortunate enough to experience it in 2024 when I first became chief, when we added 4 names to the wall that year from 2023.
Baton Rouge Police Chief TJ Morse is our guest. So you go in, and are you there the whole week? Is the family there the whole week? Because I know or is it kind of a get in, receive your love and get out sort of thing?
No, we're here all week.
Okay, good.
Kind of events scattered throughout the week. Everything from Wednesday night candlelight vigil, Friday during the daytime is the actual ceremony with roses and speeches. But yeah, they have a lot of really good events for the families, especially for the kids. The kids get to be around other kids that have lost a parent, in the line of duty and law enforcement. They just, a lot of different types of seminars and officer wellness kind of things. So it really is a week-long event that they do a really good job here with a combination of organization called COPS, which is Concerns of Police Survivors, and the Fraternal Order of Police.
The candlelight vigil coming up tomorrow night. Is there a way to put into words the emotion that's going to be there? Because you're talking about hundreds. When you broaden out to the entire nation, you're talking about hundreds of names of officers killed in the line of duty. Is there any way to put into words what you're going to experience and what the Eisworths are going to experience tomorrow night?
There really isn't. It's they actually read off every single name, over 300 names, just from 2024 of officers that were killed in line of duty across the country from last year. They read out every single name by state. And so, when I went in 2024, they call out the state. We all stand up, everybody from Louisiana, and they read out each individual name and the date of their end of watch. And it is really a cool thing, to look around and see that many people just honoring those heroes. We went to the wall yesterday. We're able to see his name, kind of spend a minute there. They have these, for anybody that hasn't been, it's a really inspiring place. They have all four corners. They have these big lions with different quotes underneath each one. My favorite one says, "It's not how these heroes died, but how they, not how these officers died, but how they lived that made them heroes." So it's really, really a cool place.
Very much so. By the way, there are links for YouTube and Facebook. If anybody wants to watch the memorial when it happens tomorrow night, NLEOMF is the .org is the website. You can find the direct link back to their YouTube or Facebook page from there. And in fact, I think they might be live on LinkedIn as well. Baton Rouge Police Chief TJ Morse is our guest. He is in Washington, D.C. for National Police Week. But I do want to pivot back home a little bit, talk about a few of the things that have gone on since our last visit. The first of which is the pay raise. Obviously, it was approved, was it 3 weeks ago at this point?
Yeah,
and
3 weeks ago now, for sure.
Talk to me a little bit about, since the pay raise, what has the reaction been, not just on recruiting, but I do want to talk recruiting, but not just on the recruiting front, but on the front with our existing officers, our current officer pool. How's it being you would think it's an obvious answer, but how's it being received?
Very, very exciting. Very exciting time. I think that leading up even to the day of the council vote, you had a lot of officers that were very apprehensive. And I even met with some last week that were like, well, we'll see. We still kind of wait till we see it on our check. They're still kind of apprehensive. But, for morale, for everything, to the officers, on the department to feel like they're finally being recognized and paid what they're worth. Even with this raise, I don't think you can put a touch on everything that, we're called to do in the professional law enforcement and all the different hats that we have to wear. But across the department, very exciting time. On the recruiting side, phones and emails been blowing up. And so it's a good time to join the Baton Rouge Police Department right now.
No, absolutely. On the recruiting front, for sure. So you talk about you can't put a price on it, but obviously we have to. Where are we at? And I know it's soon to go put the hand back out again, but where are we at with making sure that officers from rookies all the way through are being taken care of, like moving forward? Are there next steps involved beyond just this raise?
Yeah, of course. The mayor's administration has, put no qualms about it ever since he was running, that public safety is priority number one. So continue to have those talks, because with hiring more officers, we're going to have to talk about, in the budget, which, we're still at $12 million deficit from a couple of years ago. And we're working on that because we have to buy police cars and uniforms and vests and all the equipment that goes with hiring all these officers. So still having those conversations, but very exciting that, being hired on as a brand new officer, starting pay $58,000, highest in the state. So keep pushing forward. And I've said it all along, Baton Rouge Police Department is one of the best departments in the entire country, from everything that the training we do and all the specialized divisions, capital city of Louisiana. And so now we have to pay to kind of match that. And I think that we're going to be able to bolster our numbers soon. It's going to take a little while, right? Because we're probably not going to have our next full academy until January because of the recruiting and the background checks and everything that goes into all that.
Mm-hmm.
But we're looking to have like a lateral academy, people that are already post certified, police officers, other places, bring them in probably mid-July into July.
Okay. All right. So we're seeing that right now. When you say lateral academy, that bringing them from other departments around, are we already seeing results there? Is it too soon to even ask for numbers?
Oh no, we're definitely. Last I heard, it's upwards of 25 or so people reaching out all the way from Tennessee and other states, and then of course locally. So it's been really good, and I think that you look at those people that they have that heart and that that drive to be public servant, law enforcement professionals, and we want them to come to Baton Rouge Police Department. And it's the problem that I've always wanted to have as chief, that hey, I want to have a 30-man academy and I have 100 people to pick from, right? Instead of I want to have a 30-man academy and I have 15 people to pick from, which has been the problem. So it's gonna be good, and we can get that top tier talent.
I don't want to bog the conversation down with math, but knowing the shortage that BRP has had and knowing what officers are now about to be paid, how many can we afford to hire?
Yeah, so working with finance, my hat's off to them, because they're the ones that had to do all the numbers and figure out what this raise was actually going to cost, and working really well with them. Angie and her team over there, the finance with the mayor's office, they do a really good job. So this year we can hire up to 30. Okay. And then next year we're going to talk about, probably another 50 or 60 next year that we'll be able to hire. And so, talking out those numbers, looking at what sales taxes are doing and all the different things, and being conservative to make sure that we stay within budget. And
that's between recruiting rookies and, well, that's between recruiting and the transfer portal, if we could put it in football terms.
Yeah, the transfer portal. There you go. I think that's a good way to look at it.
We got just a couple minutes left with Baton Rouge Police Chief TJ Morse. In these last 2.5 minutes, Chief, if we could look back on one of the more tragic days that we can, in recent memory, Mall of Louisiana shooting. The response from the outside in, it appeared overwhelming. You actually hopped on board with us the morning after to kind of give us a debrief then, but now that we've got a couple weeks under our belts, can you take a look back and kind of evaluate how your department did, not just in the response, but in working with other departments as well?
Yeah, 1,000%. So 17 years on SWAT, close to 17 years on SWAT. We, after action debrief, whatever you want to call it, after every single, whether there's a warrant or a call out hostage situation, but always debriefing, always learning, always trying to get better. And this is the same thing. We did our own small internal debriefing, senior administration, and bigger internal with all the different divisions and uniform and response and everybody that was involved. And then got even bigger, and we had a real big one up at MOSTEP with all parish-wide kind of after-action debrief, looking at everything from, hey, how can we improve the radio channels we were on, and talking amongst each other all across the parish to get everybody on the same page. But, and of course, the investigation is still ongoing as we look at doing NIBIN hits on the shell casings, the DNA swabs, all the things, letting our top-tier homicide detectives do what they do best, doing the investigation. But we are definitely seeing how we can improve, working with the mall officials. There was already kind of a tabletop exercise, scheduled that we were already going to do prior to this. And so looking how we can even improve that and work with them to, let people know that we are, really promoting public safety. And I think that if there is a silver lining in this horrific, tragic incident, is that people got to see the response, the parish-wide response, from everything from the police department to the sheriff's office, the state police, our federal partners, all the, St. George Fire, EMS, everybody that responded to that, and how seamlessly we could work together on a mass casualty incident like this.
He is Baton Rouge Police Chief TJ Morse, out in our nation's capital right now. Chief, I appreciate you carving out a couple minutes for us. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Brian. Appreciate it very much.
Likewise. We'll talk to you soon. Here is your money now. So I need to get him in a off the record conversation for a little while, because there's a number of officers who have pointed out a flaw in the math. And I want to, I'm sure there's an answer for it. I just need to hear it from him because I can't explain it. Oh.
What organ are we doing here? And what guts do you need? Is it the cuts you asked for earlier?
Oh, 7, 8, and 9. Who? Oh, I know. The businesses up and down the river, the industry up and down the river needs a collective voice speaking on its behalf. That's why we talk about industrymakes.org every single day. Every time something happens at any of the plants up and down the river, whether they want to grow, expand, widen their footprint, hire more Louisianans, there's always pushback. There's always a concerted voice speaking against industry in Louisiana. Where's the voice for industry in Louisiana? That's Industry Makes. Industrymakes.org is the website if you want to check them out. We had Desiree Lemoyne on last week talking about it. We had one of the guys from St. John Parish speaking up on behalf of the employers, the people that do things, the people that make things. Everything from the shoes on our feet to the tires on our car to the roads the tires drive on. It's all done via industry in Louisiana. Their voice is at industrymakes.org. Let others make noise. We'll make everything else. So we had Senator Cassidy on this morning. One of the questions I threw out was about how the next few days are just going to be brutal. It's going to be absolutely brutal on the negative campaigning front. ULM political science professor Pearson Cross spoke with our news partners in Louisiana Radio Network. He says Bill Cassidy, John Fleming, and Julia Letlow are pulling out all the stops to get their messages out to avoid finishing in last place. Cut 7.
We're getting to the point where the push comes to shove and the candidates are very close. All the polls suggest that, frankly, the three candidates are within the margin of error.
The Cross says the three are all going negative because history has shown negative campaigning works. And he says, in this instance, the mission for all three is to put distance between their opponents and President Trump.
Everybody's sticking themselves closely to Donald Trump. So if you can insert some doubt in the public's mind that a candidate is not as close to Donald Trump as they say they are, then maybe they'll move to your side.
Is there any room for serving Louisiana in this race? I'm sorry. I don't want to go down this. I don't want to get on this soapbox again. But how many candidates are here to serve the president? How many candidates are here to serve you and me? I know you got to run on his popularity in the state. I realize that. But at a certain point as a Louisianan, do you just stop and say, am I voting for a Trump ally or voting for someone who's for Louisiana? And those two things don't have to be mutually exclusive. But at the same time, though, they're not always going to be the same thing. For example, right now, we have a war in Iran that's affecting our gas prices, affecting our grocery prices, affecting the price of the goods across the board. Affordability was supposed to be the buzzword this year. But right now, it's not. Where's that fight? By the way, so when you have three different candidates, one who is endorsed by Trump, one who on this show an hour and a half ago said he's currently working with the Trump administration, and one who also says that he was in a previous Trump administration. It's a taller task than you would think to find out who's going to cozy up to him the most. Now, Julia Letlow has Trump's endorsement. Cross says in his time following the national political circles, he has never seen anything like Trump's influence in elections.
An Obama endorsement, would that really carry anything like this kind of weight? I don't think so. And it hasn't for candidates in the past.
No, it wouldn't. And we're in a weird spot right now because who the hell would want Joe Biden's endorsement? That's not even going to be a thing. But it's Tuesday of election week right now. And I can tell you, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, all the way through 8 p.m. on Saturday, the phone's not going to stop unless you've opted out of them. But the phone's not going to stop with anti-Trump Cassidy, fraud Fleming, and a liberal Letlow. It's going to be on repeat between the calls and the text. Do you even read them? I tell you what, let's talk during the break. Let's talk over on Facebook Live during the break. Do you even bother to read the text, or once you've made up your mind, you just start reporting spam? Here comes news.
I'm still getting phone calls about Cassidy's live town hall.
Yeah.
That whatever focus call I've been getting for days now. I'm like, so every night he's having a town hall at 8 o'clock. Every night.
right, stand up. Ooh. In my hamstring. Oh, yeah, I don't. And you know, people are gonna say, "Well, he's trying to do it in secret behind closed doors." Shut up! It was on the website last night. Yeah. Oh, good. Yes. Yeah. Oh. Did you just get a text from Michelle? Do you know what it means? And then she sent a survey. Oh crap! You texted. You're here. I'm just. Yeah. Yes.
No problem. I need to get a sign made and put it like in our
Yeah.
the cute little like you go to a business and they have the
Yeah.
It's fives.
I think
Yes,
those are dollar.
two fives.
They're fives, yeah.
And the L is capitalized. I think this is all teachers so much.
Yeah.
He's trying to like that other words. There was something else.
Well, I feel like this is gonna be a lot more for sales than it is for us.
Yeah.
So I don't want to like jam up with their whatever they find best to sell, then go with it. I don't operate a CRM. .806 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP mornings with Brian Haldane off and hour 3 off and running. We're 2/3 of the way through the show.
Gosh.
Yeah,
I didn't even realize we're in the 8 o'clock hour.
No, 7 o'clock. I warned the 7 o'clock hour was going to happen fast, and it happened fast. That was a fast hour. Oh, I mean, technically, it was the exact same number of minutes and seconds as every other hour, but 3,600 seconds. But that moved. Thanks again to Trey Godfrey. That's why it moved so fast. Trey's always such a good conversation, but we end up talking fast,
right?
Like an episode of The West Wing or Gilmore Girls.
And then you had Chief, and Chief's always good.
Yeah. So good stuff. All available at talk1073.com, courtesy of Lake Urgent Care. If you missed it or wanted to check it out again, this hour is going to rock and roll as well. We've got Councilwoman Laurie White Adams in with us, as they've got a meeting coming up tomorrow night. And if we're talking pay raises, let's continue talking pay raises and kind of get caught up to speed on everything else that happens. I'm negligent every time the legislative session gets underway. I'm negligent when it comes to the Metro Council because there's 1,700 bills going through the legislative session over a certain period of time before they have to clock in and clock out. They got to sign a die on June 1. So I need to pay attention as much as I can, but that means letting the Metro Council fall to the wayside. Well, not this year. We'll talk with Laurie in our next segment. Right now, though, this day in history. Okie dokie.
Jump in back to the year 1780. British forces captured Charleston, South Carolina. Love that place. During the American Revolution, it became one of the biggest American losses of the war.
Okay.
Have you ever visited Charleston? I love Charleston.
Never
the
been
place
to Charleston.
has so much history.
I've been to Columbia, South Carolina once.
And Miss Laurie's shaking her head. Yes, it's a wonderful place.
Okay.
1862, Union troops officially occupied Baton Rouge during the Civil War after Confederate forces abandoned the city and marked a major turning point for control of the Mississippi River region.
Okay.
1949, the Soviet Union lifted the Berlin blockade after nearly a year, ending one of the first major Cold War crises.
Wait, say that again?
So the Soviet Union lifted the Berlin blockade after nearly a year, ending one of the first major Cold War crises. That was back in 1949.
Love it.
Jumping ahead to some music news. 1963, Bob Dylan walked off the Ed Sullivan Show after producers refused to let him perform a some sort of song. And I kept trying to figure out what it was that he wanted to perform, but whatever it was racy enough that they just were like, nope. 1965, the Rolling Stones recorded I Can't Get No Satisfaction, one of the most recognizable rock tunes of this day.
Okay.
And jumping ahead to the year 2000, Battlefield Earth, never saw it, but it hit theaters on this day in history. It became one of the most mocked sci-fi movies ever made, despite John Travolta pouring millions into it personally.
Okay.
I've never, ever, but apparently the movie gets ripped as one of the worst ones ever. Battlefield Earth in the year 2000.
All right.
What else you got, Brian?
For as far as what happened on this day?
Yeah.
On this day let's start off in 1984. On this day in 1984, the World's Fair opened in New Orleans.
Oh.
Uh-huh. And on this day, you had Satisfaction came out on this day.
Yes, I did.
Well, how about on this day let me scroll back up. On this day in 1977, Hotel California went gold.
Woohoo! One of my favorite songs still to this day. And I got to throw this in here. 1967, Jimi Hendrix dropped the Are You Experience albums. It was his debut, and rock music was never the same after that.
Okay, good stuff.
All right, birthdays on this day. Katharine Hepburn, big Hollywood actress, way back in the year 1907, was born on this day. 1907. Tony Hawk.
Yep.
1968. Emilio Estevez, sorry, 1962. Stevie Wonder, 1950.
Also, George Carlin, born on this day in 1937. Burt Bacharach, 1928. And Ving Rhames is 67 years old.
Oh, wow. I don't have any notable deaths. Do you have anything, Brian?
I did not write anything down.
Nothing notable that sits out for this day. All right, National Day. If I wouldn't have etched out my little calendar notification. Oh, Lord, they're terrible today, Brian. National Nutty Fudge Day. I mean,
you're not going to believe this.
What?
That's the one I had.
Really?
Yeah.
Out of all the day, I mean, they have National Odometer Meter Day. What?
I don't know.
National Limerick Day.
Okay.
I'm just going to go with Nutty Fudge Day.
We can roll with that for sure. We are at 8:11 at Talk 107.3 FM. Before we take our next break, though, I want to remind you about Guarantee Health Solutions. GuaranteeHealth.com is the website, GuaranteeHealth.com. If you work in a medical office and you are a little bit worried about client retention, making sure you're taking care of your patients the right way, and are you utilizing those relationships to grow your business, this is where Guarantee Health Solutions comes into play. Guarantee Health Solutions is bridging the gap between healthcare and hospitality. In fact, this is a system that was born out of experience, born out of a negative experience when a family member of Rachel Fricke, the founder of Guarantee Health, was going through a pretty rough time, and it just felt so transactional on the medical front. Well, how do you turn your patient relationship into an actual relationship that can grow to where you have great patient retention, you have great patient growth, and you have your front of house, back of house, L of house matching in how they're rowing the boat forward. GuaranteeHealth.com is the website. Guarantee, spell guarantee with a Y, by the way. GuaranteeHealth.com. Quick break. Coming back next, talking Metro Council business.
That rain last night. Were you out in it?
I was.
It rained until what, 1 a.m?
It was
Thereabouts.
crazy. It was crazy. I
Tara
have to.
I live in Tara.
Oh, yeah.
Tara was flooding, like
What
horribly
streets?
on the main
The main, the
drag.
boulevard.
And so people were driving in immediately.
Yes. Yes.
Same on Goodwood.
Yes. Yeah, I know. It's bad when the streets flood. Of course, some of the streets are designed to flood rather than the homes, right? Like, so it's, but doesn't help you get home.
And I have a car that's very low to the ground.
I never saw anything like it, y'all. This was on the boulevard. Look at that crap. I
That's
know. I'm in a Tara Moms group, and
Yeah.
they were posting all about it.
Oh, yeah.
I live on Crescent, so I don't live on the Ward Street side.
Yeah.
I live on the
Yeah.
neighborhood side.
Yeah.
So I was just seeing in the
I
creek
know.
is high right now.
The creek is so high. I
If we
have
got one more
spent.
day of rain, I don't know.
I'm gonna say this: the test of all the work we have done over the last 4 years, these rains that people are not flooding, like our drains are cleaned out, our channels are moving. I mean, this has been.
Let's start there before we get to current
Sure,
business.
absolutely. I mean, I keep waiting for phone calls that I've got flooding in the district, and it hasn't come.
Right.
It hasn't come. Now, Ward Creek is.
I'm sure Jen has.
High. We did get an email about some garden district flooding.
Nicholson and Burbank.
I haven't heard.
Oh, Nicholson and Burbank on Friday.
Yeah.
Was a lake.
Was it
And it is every time you
Did it
Nicholson.
get into homes?
No, there's no home.
Okay,
No,
okay.
no, like on LSU's campus.
Oh, yeah.
So
yeah.
like in between Alec Box Stadium and Tiger Stadium, it turns into a lake right there.
I know it's not good when it's the roads, but I'm worried about the homes.
Yeah.
I'm worried about the homes. So, because like you look at the boulevard, those houses are right.
Mhm.
And so it's draining into the.
There's a certain part of Tara that actually slopes down. It's near my neck of the woods, Old Hampton.
Mhm.
You can see it just dip.
Oh, it definitely dips. Definitely dips.
8:15 at Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP. Need to remind you very, very quickly about the folks over at NeuroJust NEUROJUST. I spell it out for you every day because I want to send you to the website. I'm sending you to the website because if you or someone you know and love is battling with anxiety or depression, has been treatment resistant, you need to give neuro just a look. What does treatment resistant mean? The sit down, talk it out therapy doesn't go home with you. It's great, but it doesn't go home with you. Meanwhile, the prescription drugs, the antidepressants, if you're experiencing diminishing returns and or side effects, you need to give neuro just a look. Now, if either of those two forms of therapy are working out for you, if you're good on the antidepressants, stay on. If the sit down, talk it out therapy is working for you, stay with it. Absolutely. This is all about your mental health or the mental health of the person you know and love. But if you've been treatment resistant, if those aren't taking for you, give TMS therapy a look. Transcranial magnetic stimulation. This is what they specialize in, and you see results. You see response of more than 80%. Learn more at neurojust.com. All right. It's 8:16 at Talk 107.3 FM. Time to dive into Metro Council business. Councilwoman Laurie White Adams is in with us. How are you?
I'm great, Brian. Great to see you. Thanks for having me in.
No, love having you on always. And I apologize in advance. And I do this every single year. And I'm so much better at this year.
Yes.
Had Jen on about 3 weeks ago.
That's awesome.
Which is Metro Councilwoman Jen Rock was on about 3 weeks ago, and it's so hard to not dial in to the session. And quite honestly, I don't want to not dial in.
Absolutely. I'm dialed into the session too.
Right.
Yeah, like crazy. So, and there are bills certainly that affect, the local municipalities. So definitely paying attention to those. I understand completely.
If we have room on the back end, we could talk about a few of them. If we have room. Before we get started with anything though, between Friday, Saturday, and then last night,
the rain.
Oh my goodness. Now, normally this is a time where, Metro Council's phones are blowing up because there's flooding everywhere.
Absolutely.
Let's start with your district and then zoom out.
So, I definitely have rain PTSD, right? Because I had in May of, 2021, just a huge number of houses that flooded in my district with that rain event that I think Garrett Graves called the rain bomb. Isn't that what he called it? So, I've been waiting for phone calls to come. So far, I have not heard of any homes flooding in the district, which is amazing, Brian. That tells you that cleaning out all of those drains, that cleaning out those channels, it has made a difference. Now, I've driven past Ward Creek numerous times to check on it. It is very, very high.
Yeah.
And there's certainly some drains that have some blockage. I mean, there's going to be some cleanup work on the backside of this to get gradu or litter dams, whatever you call it, out of the channels. But this is just a testament to the work we've done that people are not flooding. So hallelujah.
Now, when you see street flooding, that's a cause for alarm. But you were saying you make a great point during the break, is that street flooding is one thing, but you're not making an insurance claim on street flooding.
You're not. And in some neighborhoods, the streets are actually designed to flood. When you go through a neighborhood, sometimes you'll notice the houses on either side are high. That's because your street is actually going to act as a temporary water detention area. I know it's super scary when you're driving a car. You got to be very, very careful. Just remember those emergency vehicles. If something happens, emergency vehicles are high and they're going to be able to get to you. Don't worry about that. But better to have that water in the streets than in your house.
No, 100%. Could not agree more. And, we kind of all know the hot spots now.
We do.
Although I will say, yesterday or last night was the first time, getting into my neck of the woods. Last night was the first time we saw that much rain without Goodwood flooding in front of St. Thomas More.
Wow.
Now Goodwood flooded in about 4 other spots.
Okay.
But in front of St. Thomas More, it was because the day before that they were cleaning it.
Yeah.
Like literally they had the grates off and they were getting down in there with the pump and all that other good stuff.
Our crews, a lot of great work has been done.
Yeah.
So shout out to DPW and to our contractors.
Now, that being said, sometimes the rain is so much that there is no amount of work that can be done.
Absolutely.
Flash flooding is a thing.
That's right. We could not afford a stormwater sewer system that would keep all the water cleared out of the streets at all times. Short of putting
a dome over the city.
Absolutely.
I don't know that you can.
And now we've come to a Stephen King book. I love it.
Well, yes, that happened fast. But the flooding is, so yesterday was like the last of it for about a week or so. And before we would see more rain again.
And other parts of the country are having terrible droughts. We were in Florida visiting some friends a few weeks ago for a wedding, and they're in a terrible drought over there. Yeah. St. Augustine.
Okay.
Yeah,
wow.
And I was like, well, I would love to send you some water.
Just trade off. All right, yeah.
Yes, I can send you buckets and buckets and buckets of it.
Got Councilwoman Laurie White Adams in with us. So with the flooding we got through. Okay. Coming up tomorrow night, you'll have a meeting.
We do.
And,
We have
I had the mayor on yesterday.
Oh, good. Very good.
So we talked a little bit about what's going to be on the table, pay raises for who and for how much.
Yeah. So across the board, 3.5%. And look, I mean, it's a weird time, Brian. There's a lot going on, and I will say nobody can say that this mayor president is not swinging for the fences.
Right.
We faced major challenges on day one, and he is attacking those challenges one by one. I think the concern with the pay raise is this isn't quite in the order in which your conservative council members would like to have seen this take place. We from the very beginning.
Wait, meaning what?
Well, we've got reforms. We need to do some benefit reforms. We need to do some retirement reforms. The city parish has been just repeating, wash, rinse, repeat the same things over and over again, not making adjustments to benefits, not making adjustments to retirement system, or really dealing with looming retirement, debt or concern over, the retirement system. Defined benefit, plans are more and more expensive, right? I mean, they depend on you having more employees coming in at the bottom to support the retirees. And as I know, during the budget hearings, you heard us talk about, cutting positions. I'm sure you heard the mayor president yesterday talk about 100 unfilled positions that taking funds from. So anyway, we there are things that this council needs to do in this term to make sure that our retirement system is viable in the future. So lots of questions. Council members have lots of questions out to the retirement system right now. Lots of information that we need ahead of this vote to understand how stable and secure our retirement system is. And we're waiting on that information. They're working on it for us.
What has been done to free up money? Because we just had Chief Morse on last hour talking about the raise for his department. And now we're talking about 3.5% for literally everybody else. So what has been done to free up money?
Well, the changes we made to the retiree health insurance benefits last year, going to the Medicare Advantage plan. We've had a ton of retirees who've gone to that, and all reports are that they're happier and it's saving us money. There's certainly efficiencies to be gained in the health insurance space, more efficiencies to be gained, more monies to be gained there.
Can you elaborate on what efficiencies means? Because the mayor said the same word yesterday.
Efficiencies. So helping our employees make better decisions on selecting their healthcare plans.
Okay.
If you choose a healthcare plan that doesn't fit your needs, if you're not enrolled in the right plan, it can be way more expensive for the city parish.
Okay.
Believe it or not, the use of PBMs, which has certainly been a bugaboo down at the legislature.
Yeah.
But PBMs are big money savers for self-insured plans like ours.
Really?
Absolutely. Yes.
Wow.
So,
okay.
Being able to negotiate bigger discounts on drugs is huge. We're self-insured. So it means every time one of our employees makes a claim, it is coming out of general fund money. So there's no insurer that is absorbing any cost for us. It all goes straight to the city parish.
Now, as I understand it, when it comes to retiree health plans, and I'm not going to try and quote numbers on this because it was at an event and I just, as I understand it, the participation rate is far greater than was originally expected.
Yes, I think maybe 80%, close to 80%, maybe even more.
That was
than
the number
that.
I had. No, 80% was the number I had.
I want to say we had 200 and maybe 36 that decided not to participate, but that we're hoping are going to come along and participate. I mean, it's yes.
Okay.
They talked to their friends and they found out that their friends were on Medicare Advantage and we're super happy with that. And so we had great adoption of that.
So when we talk about how did all this money get freed up, because a lot of what what Coach has had to do is we've been spinning plates for far too long. It's been a lot of budget based off of federal dollars. ARPA dollars were huge from COVID till a year ago.
Sure, absolutely. That's how we cleaned out our stormwater sewer system.
Right.
$56 million. Yeah.
Right. So, but it's not how you run the railroad on a day-to-day basis.
It's not.
And we had been.
It's back to reality.
Right.
Now, look, some of these reforms that the Medicare Advantage plan, we recommended that to the last administration and were shut down. They wouldn't They wouldn't talk to us
Really?
about it. So
Interesting.
that's painful for those of us who knew we could have been saving 8 or 9 million back then, and
Right.
weren't able to.
So okay, then retiree health insurance is one thing. So what's the next one?
Just reworking health insurance, just the city parish plan, right?
Okay.
We brought in a PBM. We think there are probably some more monies to be gained through the use of the PBM moving forward. Advising city parish employees on which healthcare plan is best for them. Certainly there's been talk about putting out an RFP, looking for a new health insurance plan, or new third party administrator. So there's lots out there that we can do. It just takes time. And then we all know we've really got to take a hard look at our retirement system. So for every salary that we have, for every employee that we have, we pay our 78% in benefits.
Wow.
So when we had a consultant come in 2.5 years ago to talk to us, he said he'd never seen anything like the cost of our benefits program. So we have known from that day to this that things were going to have to be rearranged. Now I'm told right now that maybe looks more like 56%, but still the average for municipality, your benefits are usually between 30 and 38%.
Right.
So things we've got to adjust things.
How can that be adjusted? Because I can't imagine, unless you're going to be able to show a better return on something else, which that would be a strange world.
So now, for each employee who participates in the retirement system, we're making a 34% payment into the retirement system on their behalf. That's huge. That's amazing. If Guarantee gave you 34% of your salary to invest for your retirement, how quickly could you retire?
I would put together every dollar I could. Absolutely. Yeah.
Absolutely. So we've got to look at changes, and we've got to get help in on those changes, Brian. I am not an expert on retirement benefits. This is what I know. I know that cities who don't make wise choices in times of financial stress end up bankrupting their retirement system. Look at Detroit. I don't know if Councilwoman Rocca had visited with you about her visit to Detroit, but they said the saddest thing in that city was when they weren't able to pay their retirees' benefits, their retirees' retirement. So we have to make wise decisions today to secure things for the future.
Now, is that, can we do that on a scale that says what you got you can keep, but anybody new coming in would pivot?
Well, so we can't take anything away from anybody right now. They've earned that. They've earned that. But we know we've got to find a way to make adjustments for the future.
Okay.
And like I said, we've got to get people in to help us make those make those recommendations, because it's not a place of expertise for me. But I do have concern about changing pay scales without understanding, because along with this pay raise comes an updating of pay scales.
Okay, we got literally 2 minutes left. I dragged us down a rabbit hole with the
sorry.
whole.
No,
I did that. I dragged us down the rabbit hole with how are we getting it all paid? How did we clean up the books? How did we fix all the mess that was the last, not just the previous administration, the last 30 years?
It's
a emergency dependent, has been disaster dependent. So.
Absolutely.
I walked us down that path. So let's get back around to 3.5% pay raises. This is for whom and for how widespread?
My understanding is 3.5 across the board.
Okay.
But then also with this, so I talked about the study we had done, the compensation study we had done, I think in 2024.
Okay.
That study showed that our employees were on average paid about 25% less in salary than the market average. And so a recommendation was made that we adjust those pay scales.
25%?
Yes.
Jeez.
But of course, remember, the benefits, average benefits were 30 to 38. Our benefits are at 78%. So I think our employees have been being paid in benefits more than in salary. And in today's economy, that's not helpful. We have 102 job codes that their starting salary is in the teens or the 20s, or maybe
Really?
maybe even the low 30s. I mean, so
That's
I mean, you
insane.
can't live on those. That you can't
No.
live on those salaries.
No.
And then those same pay scales, when you get to the top end, it just goes into the 30s or 40s. Again, you're not able to live or function on those. So I know we need to make some adjustments. But this is a lot of decisions to make in just 3 weeks.
So what's the which culminates tomorrow night. So what's the appetite to get this done? Are we looking at a lot of positivity here, or is this gonna be a fight?
I don't know that it's going to be a fight. I think there are going to be a lot of questions asked. I mean, certainly, Brian, when you have less people and you're consolidating jobs, we know we're asking more and more and more of our employees.
Yeah.
And we know we have employees making, $19,000, $20,000, $28,000 a year. I mean, we know that. And what I'm not even sure how much of a relief 3.5% is to people in those, right?
True.
I mean, really.
Well, 3.5% is a dream if you're not in government.
Yeah.
3.5% raise is awesome if you're not in government.
Yeah.
And you talk about consolidating jobs and adding responsibilities for the rest of us in outside the governmental world. It's like, to quote Bruce Willis in Die Hard, "Welcome to the party, pal."
Yeah.
I mean, that's where we're at.
I don't know anybody working in private industry who's making in the teens or in the 20s. I don't have any.
No.
I don't even know young people starting at those salaries.
I'm with you on that
Yeah.
front, but it just when you talk about like the job description is the job description.
Right.
No.
Oh, and agree. And so, I mean, the people we have who are working, they're working, in those job categories for peanuts. And then it's very, very, very hard to get people to fill those positions.
Understood. So coming up tomorrow night, are we expecting?
I think there are going to be lots and lots of questions. I don't know how much angst there's going to be, but lots and lots of questions because, your conservative council members really, really, really wanted to see your health insurance, your benefit reforms and your retirement reforms ahead of pay scale adjustments or pay raise adjustments.
Fair enough.
Lots of questions, but
fair enough.
We'll see about angst. I think if there's enough angst at the state capitol,
let them absorb all of it.
Yeah.
Y'all just keep all the angst for right now.
Yeah.
For a couple more weeks. In the meanwhile, she's Councilwoman Laurie White Adams. We always appreciate the time.
Thank you, Brian.
Blew right past ABC News, and I don't care. Here comes our local news, traffic, weather. On the back end, let's talk about Plan Baton Rouge Phase 3 and how we're stacking up against some other downtowns. That's next.
Sorry, such a complicated.
No. And I got questions. I'm getting questions every time I talk about police pay raise or other pay raises. It's like I'll go ahead and read you one of the comments.
Yeah, no, it's good. It's helpful. I need that. I need to hear what people.
Aaron Rogers. Here we go. I'm having a hard time grasping how City of Baton Rouge cried about losing so much money because of St. George and how there were going to be massive layoffs and budget cuts. Now, only months later, there are multiple job openings listed, and we're handing out raises across the board. I'm not saying there shouldn't be raises. I'm just interested in where the money was all of a sudden found.
It's in the 100 empty positions. It's the 100 unfilled positions.
Yeah,
that's where it is. It's kind of complicated too, though. I mean, it's, I think sales tax receipts are a little higher, but you can't really count on that moving forward. But it's basically the 100 unfilled positions. So when you have those unfilled positions, people are doing the work.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. But you need to be able to keep them.
I mean,
it's hard.
People are doing the work, but like, we all have a different definition of what the word busy means.
Yeah.
And I'm probably. Please. 8:37. Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP, mornings with Brian Haldane, rolling right along. Got two more segments to go before we get out of here. We're going to take a kind of a different clip right now. Congressman Troy Carter was supposed to join us for DC Current, presented by the Louisiana Association of Business and Industry. His travel arrangements changed last minute, so his availability changed last minute as well. And I was really looking forward to the conversation because the congressman was part of the testimony on Friday about congressional districts. And the conversation we had last week was just really so good. I just wanted to pick up where we left off if we could, but not going to be the case, as we just have to postpone until next week with the congressman. In the meanwhile, though, we do have a lot to talk about, and I wanted to dive in on a couple of other topics, not the least of which is we now know what the Baton Rouge Area Foundation put forth to change downtown as part of Plan Baton Rouge Phase 3. Now, I can tell you, because it's where I was last weekend, that if you look at other downtowns, Baton Rouge is kicking butt and taking names. There are many, many downtowns out there that are doing it wrong. And we are, I wouldn't say full force doing it right, but we're doing it a lot more right than others. I was in Jackson, Mississippi over the weekend. Daughter had a basketball tournament. Went 3-1. I'll take. Wasn't really a tournament as much as it was just a showcase, but we went 3-1. Shout out IDE. And that's the team name. And we stayed in downtown Jackson, Mississippi. And if you've never been to downtown Jackson, Mississippi, don't. There's nothing there. It was a lot of boarded up buildings. We stayed in a Hilton Garden Inn that was refurbished from something in the past. Gorgeous, ornate on the inside. You could tell downtown Jackson had its heyday, but you could also tell that heyday, not right now. And I've been to other downtowns where, like, take St. Louis, for example, boarded up buildings, increasing amount of homeless just wandering the streets, increasing amount of, well, you don't want to say minor crime, but just, hey, can we park on the street? I wouldn't for sure. Meanwhile, in downtown Baton Rouge, I know we're not without our blemishes, but when you look at a side-by-side comparison, we are 1,000 miles further than where our neighbors in Jackson, Mississippi are. And capital city to capital city, it's important to look at the side-by-side comparison. I'm looking at my sheet right now, and I'm supposed to tell you about the folks in Matherns. So why don't I take 60 seconds to remind you about Matherns downtown? Look, grilling season's almost here, or is here. I mean, Memorial Day is the unofficial start of grilling season. Matherns has got you covered at all three of their locations, but the downtown Matherns is a great reminder of how downtown is kicking butt. Because the downtown Matherns used to be a Capital One bank, and it was something else before that. Revamped into a grocery store, and the mixed use of space above it is thriving as well. When you've revamped the vault of the bank into your wine vault, you're doing it right. When you got entrances on the sidewalk side on 3rd and the parking lot side on 4th, you're accessible to everybody in downtown, whether they're in a car or they're on foot. Full service grocery store in downtown, and if you're using the Matherns Rewards app, you're earning cash towards more groceries every time you shop at Matherns. But when it comes to our downtown, where are we headed next? That needs to be the next, that is the next question that's being addressed by the new master plan. So per the Daily Report yesterday morning, it said, quote, a new front porch. Here's what Plan Baton Rouge 3 recommends to the riverfront. Now, we're going to break this down because from the article, all of Plan Baton Rouge 3's recommendations are organized into implementation tiers. Tier 1 projects intended to catalyze early investment. Tier 2 focused on driving growth. And Tier 3 projects representing more ambitious, longer-term goals. By the way, we are on Facebook Live, and I want your feedback in real time if we can get it. Facebook Live, courtesy of Lake Urgent Care. We are up and running over there. So if you want to sound off on what you'd like to see for downtown, by all means, please sound off. So here's what's being recommended from the riverfront. And we're not going to get all of it by any stretch of the imagination. But what would you like to see? What would you like to see come from this? And remember, based off the 3 tiers. Tier 1, catalyzing early investment. Tier 2, focus on driving growth. Tier 3, representing more ambitious, longer-term goals. So here's your Tier 1 recommendations from Plan Baton Rouge Phase 3. Establish a riverfront incentive overlay district. That plan calls for establishing a special overlay that developers would be offered financial incentives in exchange for delivering assets of public benefit. Establish a Baton Rouge Riverfront Conservancy. I like this idea, by the way. The Conservancy, envisioned as a cross-sector nonprofit partnership, would guide long-term riverfront development, managing planning, programming, environmental stewardship, and fundraising. The reason I like that is because our downtown space is our riverfront space downtown is finite, whether we like it or not. And it's both finite with unbelievable room for growth, because we're not doing nearly enough with our riverfront. Tier 1, enhance the riverfront promenade. Planners recommend enhancing the existing riverfront promenade with additional seating, shade structures, and trees. Also recommended is the installation of wayfinding and history kiosks every quarter mile to improve navigation and enrich the visitor experience. I like that. It's a simple one as well. Tier 1, develop high-density riverfront housing. That's kind of a no-brainer. Tier 1, develop, quote, the Great Park. The park would include a large playground near the river center and a stepped riverfront lawn in front of Bally's Casino and Hotel. Tier 1, develop a riverfront sports and recreation hub. The report from Plan Baton Rouge Phase 3 recommends developing a new major riverfront sports and recreation destination focused on youth sports tourism. The hub would include an outdoor stadium and outdoor fields. I don't have a take on that one because I have no idea what it would look like, nor do I have any idea where it would be placed. Also from Tier 1, develop a riverfront loop. That means developing a mixed-use district with housing, cafes, and restaurants around an elevated park and a pedestrian loop that links 3rd Street back with the riverfront. Develop the porch is what they have up next. That's an expanded riverfront promenade. It's exactly like expanding the riverfront promenade. The porch would include even more seating and shade structures as well as boardwalks. The riverfront dock would also be expanded. So it's within this porch that if you've listened to this show for any period of time, you know I get on this soapbox about bringing back Fun Fair Park and putting it on the riverfront. It's within that idea that I think there's room for it. And I know it's funny, and I know it's nostalgic, and I know every time we talk about it, we ha-ha a little bit. But I cannot be convinced that if Chicago can have the Navy Pier, and Atlantic City can have the Steel Pier, and the Jersey Shore can have their boardwalk, and if you go down to the Gulf Coast, you see attractions on the beachfront everywhere you turn. I cannot be convinced that that can't be a viable solution with a twist of nostalgia. Like I say Fun Fair Park, that's just a placeholder. Give me something that is going to be an attraction. Give me a gigantic Ferris wheel that you could see from the Lobdell exit on the other side of the river. That's what I want. Like a London skyline style Ferris wheel. Give me a smaller roller coaster that, is, well, you don't want to be too dangerous because you're right by the river, but maybe just a little bit. Give me a place to get cotton candy and funnel cake. Give me a place where it's just going to be fun round the clock. Give me airbrush t-shirts. Give me chocolate dipped pretzels. Give me all of it. I call it Fun Fair Park because that's what Baton Rouge has had in the past. You can call it whatever you want. You can call it the downtown pier, the Baton Rouge, the Braff Pier, whatever. I don't care. Just give me that as a center for fun. Which takes us to Tier 2, develop a riverfront entertainment hub. Planners recommend developing a premier riverfront entertainment destination on the vacant land that surrounds the Queen. The hub would include hotels, housing, dining, nightlife, a pier, and a 700-space parking garage. Now, that property, by the way, that's just slightly upriver from the Queen. I mean, if I had unlimited funding, that's where I would want to build some kind of ballpark, like a AA minor league baseball park. Tier 2, enhance DeSoto Park. The plan calls for enhancing DeSoto Park with native landscaping, shared seating, and walking paths. DeSoto is currently undeveloped stretch of riverfront green space near Capitol Lake. I don't know why that's Tier 2. I feel like that could be done in a weekend. Moving to Tier 3, build a pedestrian bridge linking the state capitol and Capitol Lake with the riverfront. Now, Breland, I ask you, let's get you in here on this. I ask you,
Okay.
a pedestrian bridge going from the state capitol over River Road, over the tracks, and then down onto the levee. You down with that? Okay, go over by the River Center.
Okay.
They've got one there, right? You know,
Yep.
from the River Center to the other side,
Yep.
right? Well, it stops short of the tracks, but you crossing over River Road to get where you want to be.
Yes.
So would you be down with that? Say you got one by the River Center, put one in by maybe Florida,
Okay.
and then another one in all the way over by the state capitol.
I would say so.
Now, as you're driving River Road, is there a greater call to attention of the things to do on the riverfront when you have that much walking ability above you, right?
That makes sense.
That's where I would go with it. I love this idea. I love this idea of capitalizing on it because the riverfront right now has, and always has, it's got a couple of problems. Number one, pedestrian friendly. It's not pedestrian friendly because of the levee. It's also railroad track, not friendly.
Right.
So any opportunity you have to insert more pedestrians into the equation more, easily, you got to run with.
Now, would that include getting you closer to campus too? Or that's
Oh, it's 8:50. I tell you what, let's push pause right now.
Okay.
We'll check your money now. We'll check traffic, and then we'll talk about that as the next phase, not just downtown, but linking back to campus as well. It is 8:50 at Talk 107.3 FM. It's time for us to check your money now. We'll have traffic after that, and we'll be right back. Nobody wants to play? Hey, I see Aaron in there. I actually used your comment yesterday with Councilwoman Adams. So thank you once again for sounding off. Byron says Battlefield Earth was horrible. It was based on a novel by the creator of Scientology, L. Ron Hubbard. It made Sharknado seem worthy of Academy Awards. I fully believe that Sharknado was worthy of Academy Awards. I can't. Okay. You hate me. I understand. As comments. Haggai, check out downtown Spokane, Washington for what a riverfront can look like. I love the BRAF plan. I do too. I just worry that, like, you go through all this study and all this planning and you come back on the other side and say, benches and green space and maybe some shade. We're not shooting our shot. All right, Sean's got an awesome comment too.
John is chirping.
More?
Yeah.
Oh.
The parking issues.
Yeah.
Riot free.
Do my make good X on, so then I'll be up to speed.
You didn't do your one bad.
Huh? Oh, you're right. Okay.
I don't think you did it yesterday either. Did you? No, I don't think you
No, I
did.
didn't. Okay. Because I didn't write it down. 8:55, Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP, mornings with Brian Haldane, rolling right along. Some great comments coming across. Plus, Brie Lynn edited the conversation, the connection from downtown LSU. We'll get to all that in just a second. All that in just a second. Got to remind you about One Bath and Closets, ONE. Spell it out. One Bath and Closets, onebathandclosets.com. If you're looking to revamp your bathroom, if you're looking to revamp your closet, maximize your space, maximize long and short of it is, if you didn't build your house, your bathroom wasn't built for you. This is where Christy and I worked at the end of last year. Call David Duvall at 400-8005. So what can you do? Came out, showed us what he could do. Then we collaborated from there to find what we wanted within there. And been unbelievably thrilled with the results, from the walk-in shower to splitting into two vanities to the unbelievable lighting and the attention to detail throughout. Learn more at onebathandclosets.com. We'll get to, in just a second, talking about stretching from downtown LSU. That might be another topic for another day. But I wanted to touch on, Haggai says on the chat, check out downtown Spokane, Washington for what a riverfront can look like. But Spokane is one example of numerous examples, to be sure. Jean says pedestrian bridges are so needed closer to the Capitol and Claiborne building. During session, or if a big meeting is downtown, the overflow lot along the levee is difficult and it's dangerous to cross River Road. Love that idea. So do I. And by the way, they need to double, if not triple, the amount of parking they have on that front. As we've been down at the Capitol at least every week throughout the session, and I can tell you every time it is an absolute just a roll of the dice as to whether or not you can find a spot anywhere down there. So but now bear in mind, that's the free parking. That's parking. You get back on this side of River Road, and then there's a garage 1 block up. So it's the same amount of walk, but you do have to pay for it. So, but Breland, you were talking about the connection back to LSU.
Yes.
So
because once again, there's not enough parking on campus either.
Right.
Well, there is, but that's a whole nother. Anyways, yes.
So, but connecting back to LSU, I think, is a different part of the discussion. Like, this is right. Like, with just downtown, but nothing we talk about downtown is going to be successful without that connector.
Right.
So how do we work within both? How do we serve both and say, we need to get everybody rolling up Nicholson Drive? And I had a whole other thing to talk about today based off of yesterday's rain and Friday's rain, the sideways rain, big old fat rain.
Yep.
We had all of it. And
drive.
We're going to build out an arena right there on campus where it floods in a hard P. Like it floods right there, like every single time it rains. That's got to be addressed as well. With all the great work they did on Nicholson to reduce the flooding, because Nicholson used to be bad the whole way through the bottom, all the way from downtown.
Really?
Yes, from downtown to LSU, it was rough. Oh, we got to get out of here, y'all. We'll pick this up another day. Moon's next. We'll be back at it tomorrow. But Sean's right, though. That parking lot is ass. And I don't know how to make it more, how to get more out of it. But it's also free. Like, that's just, if you go around to, like, literally 1 block up, there's a parking lot on North Street. Garage. So, anyway, we're getting out of here. We will see y'all tomorrow. Later.